kind of mentality. I'm trying to play like I'm sort of a retarded version of Wozniak. So, you know, the idea here is, can I spend $10,000, hopefully of mostly other people's money, and build essentially a cluster or multiple clusters that can communicate over some, you know, make sense protocol that will crack DES essentially as fast as EFF did in 1998 for $10,000. Because $10,000 is both A, approachable for a person who just happens to make more than I do, which is probably most of y'all in the room, and C, or B, it's also approachable for people who, you know, just want a project, right? Cracking a data encryption standard that stood for 30 years is now a hobbyist project. Right? That's the key thing. That's like the revelation that we're trying to build here. The design in Deep Crack was pretty simple. So one of the reasons we think we can do better is that we can just make the design better, right? The design that they used in Deep Crack didn't include very much parallelism. There wasn't a lot of pipelining. They didn't really parallelize things. It's very simple. They did it specifically because they wanted to have a very simple core that they could verify very easily, because they knew that once they had this written in silicon, once it was etched in metal, they couldn't change it. Right? We don't have that problem. We can change it. Right? We can just change the design, upload it to an FPGA, and try again. Right? We may also be able to do better. We may be able to figure out better optimizations or algorithms than they had. Right? It's not to say that we think we know more, just that we have the ability to mess with it, and we can make mistakes and recover them easier than they can. Again, FPGAs are still slower than custom ASICs, but today's FPGAs might rival 8-year-old ASIC designs in some cases. Right? You may be able to actually get faster performance out of FPGAs with some kinds of tasks than you would have gotten cost comparatively, like price per cost, on an ASIC, an actual custom ASIC design. And so where does this all net out right now? Well, come to TourCon. TourCon happens in the end of September, early October. David helps organize and runs TourCon. We're aiming to have, just went the battery. Oh, okay. All right, we back? All right.
There we go.
So, you know, come to TourCon. We'll have more to talk about then. This is a sneak peek. So this essentially is the board. Right now it's running just really a test pattern. There's not much interesting to see. I will have essentially what I plan to show is a linked up PC sending data to these boards, and then, you know, actually having counters about how much each board is processing. So, conclusions. I'm just gonna put all these up in the first place. All right. Get an FPGA and start cracking. I mean, either you buy it from David and you like rock with the mastery that is, you know, essentially seconds to crack, like, you know, WEP, or, you know, help me out on this project, or, you know, come up with something yourself, right? The thing that we're both trying to encourage is more people to use hardware to do interesting things, right? And that's what, I mean, that's really why we gave the talk here at BlackHat, was because we wanted to get to the BlackHat audience the idea that hardware is approachable, either, you know, at the corporate level for the sexy green beast, or at the hobbyist hacker level for $150, you know, the cost of essentially 2 lattes. Make use of your hardware to break crypto. Like, that's the other thing, right? Crypto is not an impenetrable fortress, and really, you don't really have to know all that much about crypto. It helps, don't get me wrong, but if you can harness processing power alone from this project and from previous projects we've done, really that's what is key, right? And that's what Distributed Net tried to show as well, and it did so successfully for a certain extent. Go ahead.
Yeah, and make sure you use cool ASCII matrix effects when you can, or have Johnny code them up for you. That's what I did. Choose bad passwords. That's always a good, you know, security tip. So just, you know, go ahead and do that. What's that? Choose password. What? Yeah. Password's a good one. And use DES. DES is ultra secure, so use it for everything that you do, please. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, it's a standard, so you should use it. So yeah, this is the E12. It's basically a compact flash card with 64 megs of flash, 128 megabytes of RAM, gigabit Ethernet. You can also get it with a 450 megahertz PowerPC on this little tiny compact flash card. So you can run Linux on it, or, you know, just pop it in your PDA and like crack stuff really fast or whatever. Or throw together your own box with a bunch of compact flash to PCI adapters and, you know.
Sinks.
Yeah, and heat sinks. And this is our supercluster thingy, the green box. This one takes 15 of them. It's actually got 2 motherboards in it, so that's why I was only demoing 8, because I'd have to switch over to the other motherboard in here to like demo the other 7. And yeah, so it's all standard, sort of off-the-shelf stuff.
I note you have 2 DVD-RWs in there. Have you tried implementing, I don't know, DVD decryption in FPGAs?
No.
No.
That's a good project, though.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can build one of these yourself. We were having some trouble with Linux, and so I rewrote our entire driver for OpenBSD now, and that'll probably be committed like later on this week or something. So yeah, there should be native support for all this stuff in OpenBSD if you're interested in that. And then we'll probably have to rewrite a lot of their PCI stuff to get it to work in Linux.
Digital S3 boards. This is the one I just showed up that's sitting here, ticking away nicely. Again, this has a Xilinx Spartan 3. This is a much cheaper and much simpler FPGA than the Vertex 4s. Essentially, notably, I specified the XC3S1000. That designator is actually the Spartan 3 that if you were going to get a Spartan 3, because they're cost effective, they're very affordable for like little hacks, get that one. There's also, I think, a 200 and a 400 as opposed to the 1000. You want to get the 1000 because what the 1000 gives you is what they call million gate equivalent. One of the things you'll find in the FPGA industry is that there's all these terms that they use about gate equivalence, and it's like megahertz in CPUs basically, right? Everybody wants to create FPGAs that have a large number of gates on them because gates are the basic like addressable logic element that you use to build things. Like it's like the Legos, right? The issue is that nobody counts gate equivalents the same way. So a million gate equivalent Xilinx FPGA is not the same necessarily as a million gate equivalent Altera FPGA, right? But it is effective. And basically this board costs around 150 bucks online with the 1000. It's cheaper, it's 99 bucks if you want to buy it with the 200, which is like a 200,000 gate equivalent. But I highly recommend getting the 1000. You'll have more gates to play with. It won't go obsolete as fast. You can tinker with it more. In my off time, I'm not trying to crack DES. I use this board to build essentially Galaga in an FPGA because it has VGA and it has a PS2 port, so you can build little FPGA. Like I basically recreate retro video games in a little board. It has 2 megabytes of platform flash, so a lot less, 1 megabyte of SRAM. Lots of very simple I/O, which is great to twiddle with. I like to twiddle things. I like to have little switches that make blinky lights. So that's my beef. And go to digitalandinc.com. We got to give shout outs to a whole bunch of super ninjas. Johnny Cash, who was up here earlier, did Airbase, JC Webcrack, and JC Aircrack. Many props to him. I'm sure that after his new fame and fortune, he will disassociate himself from all the FPGA stuff and go on to new heights of owning. Josh Wright did Cow Patty, also super ninja, coming up with the ability to do that and for us to be able to add FPGA specialization to that. RenderMan was the PMK hash table monkey. Really, with him, he sort of started the whole process of actually like getting the thing going and then screwing up accidentally and then actually getting David involved. Beetle wrote Ghetto PMK, which is very appropriate. I mean, it is Ghetto and it is PMK and it works and it's great and it does. Also, I will mention threw some money towards Cheap Crack to get it rolling, to get us boards. And finally, Cowboy M, also in the audience, gave us Cheap Crack funding as well to get some boards and get the project rolling. And also, all of these projects generously funded by viewers like you. That's it. These are our email addresses, websites. Visit all of them. Send donations. Questions?
Oh, I'd also like to note that all of the code that I demoed on here, you can download. It's all open source, and it's on opencyphers.org.
Yeah.
Right now, it only runs on our hardware, but it's pretty easy to port it to other hardware. So all the source is there. Just do whatever you like with it. Yeah, and check out Pico Computing if you want to buy some stuff that it runs on right now.
And hunred.org is the place to go to find out more information about Cheap Crack. Thanks.
And also, one last thing. If you come out to TourCon, we're also doing some hardware hacking workshops where basically, I don't know if you know Bunny, the guy that hacked the Xbox and like stuff like that. He's doing a workshop where he's basically giving you like this new device that he actually built that's normally like 150 bucks or something like that. And you basically take it apart, figure out how everything works, hack it together, download the ROM, do some bit twiddling, build your own kernel, whatever, re-upload it, and make some hardware hack in this course. And right now it's only $900 for a day, and it actually includes all the hardware, and you get like a soldering kit and all sorts of stuff like that. And it'll be increasing up to $1,600. Just go to tourcon.org if you're interested. I have, and before everybody takes off, or take off if you like, I have a Vista build CD of the latest build of Vista for anybody who can identify the person shown in the screenshot up there. Zatoichi, who said it? Somebody said it. She said it. Wait. Shush you! Oh yeah, so any questions or?
Yeah, come on up or, you know, buy us
Okay.
beers. Thanks.
Cool, thanks a lot.